there's no strong male role model that is actively involved in the child's upbringing.
Mm.
I forgot the guy, but I think he was the first feminist president or whatever in the US. He did an interview with Jordan Peterson, and the interview was around children and why playtime is very essential, especially when we socialize young boys and young girls. And the aim of the game is to allow them to push their boundaries, their physical boundaries, to the point where obviously the little girls would cry because their little brothers would take it to the extreme of their physical strength. And because children love playtime so much, even if they get hurt from it, the point of the game is when you start noticing that the young boys are dominating the young girl, you take away the playtime. So you non-verbally punish them. You take away the reward, which is the playtime from them. And this is an important thing that teaches young boys in the sense of how to gauge their physical ability and just how far they can push it with their female counterpart. And that to me, that made a whole lot of sense because as males, we regulate violence through playing with other males as we grow up. And if this is the only thing that we grow up used to, then how do we gauge the level of physicality that we impose on women? You know, if you're not introduced into that environment at a very young age. And the saddest part of this whole thing is we're now living in a society or in a community where the third and fourth wave feminism are driving equality too much to the point where they no longer can defend women who go through these abuse because the equality now takes over, and that's now been used by the evil men who enact out these behaviors as excuses. We're just equal, you know. Men and women are equal now, so you should bear the brunt force of my fist in a sense. And that may not be verbally expressed, but I bet you that it is what's going through these men's minds. And I see it all over social media too. When there's a video pop up of a man hitting a woman, that's the first thing that they scream. Where's the feminism now? You know, aren't we all equal? So why is there an uproar crucifying men when it shouldn't be in that sense? So to me, this is, as a father, this is the most important role that I have, is to teach my son to protect and to provide by allowing him to enact, socialize with his sister through playtime. And when he gets overboard because he cannot gauge his own physical strength, then you take away the one thing that he enjoys to do the most, and that's to muck around, play fights with his sister, enjoy that until she cries. And yeah, we as men, we need to come together and not only have the conversations, but put other men accountable for these kind of behaviors. Because at the end of the day, we are both losing on both fronts. Women are losing, men are losing, but the ultimate goal is to start families and to carry on the next generations. To me, the most honorable thing I could do and to pass on to the next generation and to have my own kids and to help provide that next generation to hopefully better society in some way or form. But it starts from a very young age. When you have when the father figure is missing and you have a single mother who has a bad relationship with men, these usually start, majority of these experiences are what starts men to delve away from what they can gauge of what they're physically capable of. And oftentimes when you hear these stories about single motherhood with young men as sons, there's always a bit of a narrative where the son has come out despising his mother in some sense. And that creates a bad relationship with women for that young man. And not only that, the fathers. I've seen some complacent fathers, and I can tell you from the video that guy who I think his name is Skinner.
Yeah.
I have met his father. I've met his parents through my wife's dad. So my wife's auntie is that guy's grandmother. So I've met the parents, and it's such an unassuming relationship that they have, and it also forces me to question what is the father doing at home that makes him think that this is okay. Logically, I can't justify anything along to it, but if you put it on a logic board, this woman and this woman's family has essentially given him the opportunity to move away from Tonga, pursue a professional career here, offered their home to him, offered financial support, offered immigration support. In what world does that make sense? Even if you could try and logically argue it. So to me, this guy is just an overgrown man child who has never learned to discipline and to gauge his physical dominance, not only on himself but on others. And to me, I can only imagine what his relationship is like with his mother, or any of his sisters. And I despise the act. I despise it so much that I it's part of my teaching to my son. If I ever find that when he grows up as a young man, that he has physically abused whoever the person has decided to be his significant other, I will bury him. He's only 8 years old, and I've told him that multiple times. So it starts at home. It starts off us, the men of today, to not only teach our kids, but also have the courage to reach out and see the signs that will lead other kids into that sort of behavior. And we need to speak up. We need to put other parents into perspective, especially our generation. We're so much about, let's leave our children to decide who they want to be, especially around the whole gender bloody conversation. They should decide for themselves. No, you're a fucking parent for a reason. At least give them some principles. That's the least you could do. At least some good ones. Children don't have the brain capacity to decide anything in the world. You can at least instill some good principles.